servers or hubs are down, so like I gotta choose a different one every time. All right. Muting in the stream, so I got that up. It looks good. Wait, why is my
Wait, for
widget
real.
doing?
I don't have to deal with any of this because I since Chaotic Tiefling produces us, all I do is pretty much well, I do a lot more than just show up. Like I do all of our promo images and I book people and stuff like that. But at least from a getting us live perspective, and I don't have to deal with any of that. It is very nice.
Once you actually get the hang of it, it's real easy. It just some of it's tedious. Others is like
It's it's just
when
about the amount of stuff because I literally Monday through Friday, I don't work less than a 10-hour day. Usually it's 12 hours. And there are some things like for a couple of months and for the next month that like my Tuesdays and Fridays for the next few weeks and for the past several weeks are 14 to 16-hour days because I'm taking a game production course with Andy Johnson, who is like big name game producer, worked on the Cars video game, Minecraft, Pokemon, and a bunch of other AAA games and stuff. So, um, and adding just more stuff is like a nightmare, because I work 7 days a week, which is not a great thing. I mean, Sundays I try to work. Sunday or Saturday, I try to pick one of them and only work like 2 to 4 hours. But the other one that I end up working 6 to 10.
I will say that most people that are just viewers on Twitch don't realize how much work actually goes into the back end of setting up, prep, and then if you add on top of that for the D&D streams, especially if the DMs not just DMing but also the streaming portion of it, the setup there, and then make sure all the maps load into both the website or that you're using plus the stream. And but as far as actual streaming, it does take a bit to set up, but once you get it set up, it's fairly easy just to click between scenes.
Yeah, I am not. Yeah, no. I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. Yeah, yeah, I'm not doing it.
All
But it
right,
is a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Hecklet, you want to count us down?
Yeah, I can
Let me make sure my sound is off that I'm muted.
go ahead and do that. Are we going to use the stinger?
I'm muted, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, let's get into my transition
Why do you
tool.
have an
It's going to
advertisement
be
on
a
yours?
lot easier to deal with this. All right, starting the stinger in 3, 2, and 1. Stinger's on.
That's cool.
Okay, going to the overlay in 3, 2, and 1. Hello! Hello, and welcome to Dungeons and Discussions, our monthly podcast with Times Dungeon and our special guest that we'll get to talking and introducing him. But yeah, me, Sir Hecklet, as you know. Tyne, do you want to go next?
Yeah. I'm Tyne or Tyne's Dungeon, however you want to call it, or Kenneth, as everyone knows my name by now. Uh, of course, we brought in our special guest, as was mentioned earlier. They are our sponsor for the giveaways. It is JB. I'm going to pass it over to him.
Hey, everybody. It's great to see well, I guess I'm not actually seeing all of you, but I feel like I see you in my heart, and that's what matters. It's great to be here. I'm super excited to talk character creation with these two fantastic folks. We're also super excited to be a sponsor. Times has been like a super big fan of what we're doing and given us lots of feedback and found lots of bugs, some of which we were slow to respond on, but for the most part, we try to get on them. And has helped improve the app a lot. And then we're super excited also to become friends with Sir Heckalot. This is fantastic.
Well, I've been
So-
converted to a fan. I didn't know before, but Tyne has done converted me at this point.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you for having me on, and I can't wait to chat with you guys about characters and character creation. It's going to be a blast. We're going to have a good time.
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite part of like TTRPGs in general. So yeah,
Oh my
let's
gosh.
get into
Yeah,
it.
like I am legit the person who will have like 50 characters, and then when there's like already made and stuff, and then when there's a game, I'm like instead of going back to the library of characters that I've created who have never been played, I'm like, let's make
a new one. Yep.
I don't know.
I've done
I don't
that.
have I
You
don't have
could.
that luxury because I'm a forever DM.
We need to change that. Like, do you want to change that at some point?
Uh, it's funny because like I offered Jamie and his crew like a time where I'll DM for all of them when they want to play, and everyone's like, "You just keep offering to DM." It's like that's because I always get asked to, so it's just second nature now, just to say, "Yeah, I'll DM." Screw it.
You're like, I love it. I love it. You're like stuck in this loop. Now it's become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, well, if I'm going to be asked to DM, I might as well just DM all the time. I don't know where you find the energy, to be honest. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work DMing. I've done a lot of DMing as well. And it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So props to you. Props to you, especially if you're across lots of games, you know, lots of,
Only 3 to 5 a week.
yeah. Yeah, I have not even since we launched Neverending, I have not had time for even one game a month. Sad tears. Sad tears. Like,
Sad.
yeah, I legit launched Neverending in part because I was like, I need some cool tools for my games, and I want to be able to turn my games into stories, into webcomics and animated videos. And now that we're working on those tools, I don't play any games, so
The sacrifice you make for the rest of us at this point.
right, right, 100%. Oh well, I'll get there one day. One day. One day.
And there are plenty of communities that would absolutely be happy to have you. Just putting that out there.
Yeah,
Putting that out there.
I need to maybe do some one shots. We need to eventually launch some one shots. That'll be fun. Yeah.
Mm.
Good times.
So as was mentioned, it's going to be character creation. This is going to be technically part 1 of 2. This session, we're going to be going over everything from pre-concept, coming up with a concept, to like when to talk to your DM about ideas you may have, tying your concept into background, and a whole bunch more stuff. But as far as rolling stats and everything, that will be next session. Or next, I say session, I'm used to that now. Next episode, next month. Third Thursday every month we'll be doing these, so make sure you guys come on back. Hello, Spree.
Sweet. These will be good. Oh, and a reminder, right? Aren't people getting like? Isn't there
A giveaway, yes.
Yeah, we have another giveaway this episode.
A year subscription to neverending.app, be neverending.app, and a character commission.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Like, I don't know if people know, but character
Big
commissions ain't cheap. Like, and we do it live on a stream, so you get to watch your character get created and give some feedback, or end up just seeing the whole creation process if you end up not being able to be on time. But we did one for the last month, and it was turned out pretty cool. pretty cool, I
Well,
think.
it looked awesome. I wasn't able to stay for the entire stream, but the finished product just
It's
looked
like 3 hours
amazing.
of drawing. It's like 3 hours of somebody just drawing, and then I think Jeff afterwards did like the shading and stuff, not on stream. So it's the whole process is like at least a 4 to 5 hour process, and that's like just if you can sit down and just like crunch through. And he actually had a lot of prep. Doesn't even count all the prep that he has to do. Like we do a whole form so that way we get a lot of feedback and stuff on exactly what's getting created, as for art references and stuff. But even that, it takes some time to kind of concept things out and like look at that, read through it, make sure that you dive in and that you're being accurate. So it's a lot of work, but
Yeah,
I
I
think,
would show it off, but I haven't got a hold of Purple yet to uh,
oh,
hear
well,
whether or
I,
not because I know
I,
some people did the commissions, and I know it's being streamed on your end, and they know that, but they don't know it's coming on the podcast. So I want to make sure they know that first.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. I had mentioned it in the email when I said, look, we're gonna do this for you. And it's probably gonna show up on stream. But I totally understand you wanting to follow up with Purple first.
Uh, but yes, let's get into it now that people have the information for the giveaways. You just got to be around. I will have to, of course, because it is dual streamed and it's going to be podcast, the whole 9 yards. When people enter, they're going to be entering through chat. I'm going to take the names of those that enter and I'm going to put it in a little spinny wheel thing on another website, hit it, and see who wins. So we ain't got a bot or anything, so I got to do it all manually.
Oh, so much work. So much work.
Nah. But let's go ahead and get into pre-concept. Where do you
Yeah.
get ideas for characters you want to make? How do you go about like starting to get the concept? I know for me, being a DM, which I'm mainly going to be speaking from the DM side of things. You guys can speak from either or. But for me, I like it when my players come to me. Like I usually say, hey, look, I got a campaign starting. Who wants to be in on it? And I'll get like 15 people say, yeah, 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 yeah. And then they just create a character without asking me, what's the story going to be about? What world setting is it? And stuff like that. If you're creating a character, talk to your DM before session 0. Find out what's the setting going to be. Is it going to be medieval Earth? Is it going to be space? Is it going to be pirate theme? Is it going to be this theme? And that way, it'll help you make your character. Also, that's the perfect time to ask: is there any things that your DM doesn't want in the campaign? Is there anything they're keeping to the side? For instance,
Cat
in
folk. For instance, cat folk.
catfolk.
Do they have
Uh,
a familiar?
my
My wolf cat came on stream, so that's why I mentioned it.
my no, Tuesday night campaign, I asked them at the beginning not to make orcs, and a lot of people are like, "Why? What's up?" And that's when I told them, "Look, this is going to be a campaign set in the Orc Fastings War and the Orc Gate Wars, which is when orcs at the time were raiding villages and stuff like that, and you guys are going to be the ones stopping them. So it's like,
It's an orc
don't
thing.
want
It's
any orcs in it right now."
story complications. Yeah, yeah.
And
So do you do like a session 0 with your folks, or how do you usually handle that?
so I usually contact them when they sign up because they can sign up through my Discord or wherever I'm posting the episode or the sessions at. And once they sign up, I say, okay, this is my stipulations. This is what I don't want to see. This is what I want to see. But create your character how you want. We're going to do a session 0, but it's not your typical session 0. My session 0 is we sit down together to create the characters, do all the roles together and stuff like that. And we do a little snippet at the end of the actual session. And then we go to session 1.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So I usually just have people. I usually put some small limits on folks. My standing. I have kind of a standing rule. I don't like chaotic evil or chaotic neutral characters. Like, or even really neutral evil. But but just because in my experience, a lot of times when people are creating those characters, it's really easy for them to kind of disrupt the game. And my most dreaded phrase is, but that's what my character would do. And I totally dig it. I totally get that. But I'm like, this is not your show. Like, this is not just you. Like, this is about fun for everybody. And if your character is going to be a jerk, then they shouldn't be in the game or they shouldn't be in the party, you know. And I'll have to have that conversation, but I tried to not have that conversation by saying, look, no chaotic neutral, no chaotic evil. I'm maybe on neutral evil, maybe on lawful evil, but you got to tell me why. Like, what's up? Are you gonna? Is that an excuse for you to be a jerk to other party members? And then generally I can be kind of chill with some homebrew stuff, but I'm like, you have to. Wolf is like, hey, I have a homebrew idea. Can I be? She's like, can I be a Luxodon? Um,
Yep, there's
so
Kitty on stream.
generally I'll be like, hey, if you want to pull in homebrew stuff, like run it past me. Let's talk about what it is that you want to do. Um, but I don't think I'm as organized as you, Tyne. I don't think I'm as organized. I'm just
Years of
like,
practice.
Yeah, it's like I've only GM'd one long-term campaign, but yeah, my strategy was to do kind of a group session 0, like after doing like individual like character session 0s, just like talk with each player about the characters that they want to make. But the group session 0 was just to like roll characters and do the mechanical stuff. So I had everybody in one spot so they could all learn how to fill out a character sheet at the same time, because I had all first time players pretty much for my first long term campaign. But yeah, like I was nodding during your story and setting, having all the alignments the same at least as a baseline. It's like you could do an all evil campaign if you wanted.
yeah,
I wouldn't do that personally, but just so it's like all good or all evil, so there's not all this conflict and yeah, this is what my character would do and everything. Because I have a horror story about that. Because I had that conversation before. This
no.
and I'm so glad I had this individually with the player. Because yeah, they absolutely wanted to play this chaotic evil character whose goal at the end of the campaign was to like take out all of the other characters in the party. And I was like, okay, no, you can't do that.
That's
This
not.
is
How is
like
that fun for everybody else? Like,
it's not. It's absolutely main character syndrome, and it
yes,
I think yeah,
yeah,
the biggest part of that I think was that this character was a transplant from like a book or like a story that this person was writing this character in for, and I was like, oh no, this isn't a book. This is
yeah,
collaborative. We have to collaborate here.
yeah. That's major. That's major main character syndrome. I get that people have that. It's, I think sometimes people are attracted to games because they don't always get a chance to shine in other places. And it's an opportunity for them to really express themselves and feel like they're free and they get to, explore these identities and things. And that's fantastic. You want to be able to let people do that, especially new players. But it's important for them to understand that just like in the real world, you're still in a society. You still have to collaborate with other people. There are other people that are affected by your decisions. So, I do try to ask people like what their goals are, like what is it that they want their character to accomplish, so they still have those moments to shine and they still get to feel that way, but without being the main character, because that's
Yeah, and if you are going that way, like when I
yeah.
talk to my players about getting their backstories, I know a lot of DMs out there, which I try to tell DMs every time I talk to them, move away from this and try what I do, which is ask your players for literally 3 sentences of a backstory at the beginning of the campaign, and then give them a few 2 to 3 months to actually write the backstory as they're playing their characters, so they get a better feeling for their characters, so they get a better understanding of where their character comes from. Um, and this way, not only that, it gives me more information as they're writing it. I've had players write novels. I've had players write just 3 paragraphs, but it's information at that point that I can later use and highlight their character individually throughout the campaign. So yeah, they're going to be the prime character for maybe 3 or 4 sessions, and then someone else will be, and so on else, and it just goes on like that. And that way, it gets them feeling better. Like, hey, I was the lead role for a bit, and that's what a lot of people want.
Yeah, and that's important. People want to be able to have that experience, and that's good that you do that. It's really good that you do that.
And
So
one thing too that a lot of people, I've realized over the years of doing this, that I have to remind them if they got a scar maybe on their face, or like I have a player that was in my Monday Night campaign. His character, he wanted it to be deaf with no ears. And I'm like, well, why is that? Was it a birth defect? Or was it some result of a magical accident? And we sat down together and we worked it out. And then that played a role in the campaign later. He was completely deaf. So any sound alerts that came through, someone yelling to wake up or something like that, he wouldn't
yeah,
get. And it played a great role throughout the whole campaign. There was a time when the bell on the ship was going nuts, warning everyone that raiders were on board. He just slept through it. Um, yeah,
Uh-oh.
but there was other instances too. And what we had decided was he was an artificer, and there was a magical accident that caused him to lose his ears, and he almost died. Someone found him and nursed him back to health, but he couldn't hear because by the time they found him, it was lost. And that made a major role. And I've had other players that say, "Hey, I want a character that's handicapped. Why do you want that character handicapped? Is it going to be in a wheelchair? Is it going to be a prosthetic limb? Why are they like this?"
yeah.
And a lot of people will just say, "Well, I just want it because it looks cool." Well, tell me why so I can implement it into the story.
Yeah, and that's kind of a challenging thing, you definitely want, disability visibility. That's important. I have a connection to that because my mom is intellectually disabled. And, but it's not necessarily, I don't know. I'm always sensitive about things when somebody wants to do it because it looks cool. I think it's just a matter of making sure that they're educated about it so that they don't accidentally, portray it in ways that are stigmatizing or build on those, negative stereotypes about disabled people, or lean into it in a negative way. I think it just takes a little bit more work on that person's part. And if they're not willing to do that, then I'm not willing to let them play a disabled
There you go,
character.
mate.
Now, if it's somebody who has that disability and they want to play that, obviously that's
Thank
their
you.
lived experience. If they want to bring that into the world, that's fantastic. And I encourage that. But if they don't have any connection to it, then, like you, I'm like, why do you want to do this? I just expect them to then do a little bit of work to make sure that they're talking about in a way that isn't stigmatizing, because you don't know, even from other people at the table, who has these lived experiences in their lives. Like, I'm very open about my mom being intellectually disabled, but people wouldn't make that assumption. There's no I mean, how often do you meet somebody who's intellectually disabled who has kids? It's not super common. So, and then I have a lot of disabled people in my family as well. But again, we don't know this. We don't know if somebody has a disabled child, if they have a spouse with a disability, or so on. So, and then people don't want to feel like they're jerks and say like, "Oh my gosh, dude, like you're being like, do you realize?" Because it's an uncomfortable conversation, and that somebody isn't doing it from a negative space, and if it's somebody that you don't know, so it's those are kind of like, sensitive things that we have to just tread around. And as the DM, it's like extra work, but it can be really, really rewarding if somebody is coming at it from a good place, or if they're willing to educate themselves, and it can make for some really fun stuff and some really cool stories, because there should be people with disabilities in our worlds because they exist. Like,
Exactly. They
disabled
exist.
people
Disabled
exist.
people exist. Marginalized people exist. I mean, I was thinking the same thing with like, if someone wants to play a transgender character who is cis, like
Yeah.
you really need to do the research on that to play that character in a way that doesn't harm those groups of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly, exactly.
100%.
And
100%.
that doesn't just go for players either. All that goes for the DMs with their NPCs.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
I
100.
know, like I had talked last session or last episode about a gay dwarf that I put in one of my campaigns that some people like. A lot of people loved, some people didn't. Um, I am straight, but people wanted me to add more diversity in my campaigns, and
Yeah.
I'm down for that. But I based the character off of Robin Williams in The Birdcage, so it was very flamboyant. But it matched, and I had a lot of love for that character too.
Yeah.
A lot of people loved it. A couple people didn't like it, but at the same time, I have to balance as a DM. What do people want to see versus I got to think about the betterment essentially of everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think oh, I'm really sorry. My cat is like right here, and for some reason she thinks like the most important thing that I could be doing right now is like giving her attention. And
Oh,
then I
you're
was also semi distracted because I was trying to host your channel on our channel, and I've never done it before, and I was trying to like am I doing this right? And I still don't know. It's telling me that the video won't come up.
Slash host
Yeah, that's what
space one of our names. It don't matter which one.
I did Times Dungeon. That's what, and it's just telling me that that
I will tell you, it didn't work because I didn't get the alert.
yeah, I
yeah,
know it
same.
didn't.
um,
Sad,
so
sad
yeah,
face.
like we're talking about the pre-concept, talking to your DM, getting these things, coming up with all this. Um,
Yeah, there's some good resources for that too. If you don't exactly know where to start, there are like Google Forms out there. Like one of my favorite ones that GMs use for me as a player is called like a 5 4 3 2 1. And so it's different prompts that like it would be like five like locations that are important to your character, and then like four like people that are important, like three like goals of your characters, or like two secrets of your characters, like one secret that your character knows and which one that they don't, that kind of thing. And I really love like creation trees like that. I think it's a really good like guided way to go through a character creation if you're not exactly sure what to do. Another one that I know about is Who the Heck Are You kind of form. I think that's the last thing I saw it called. And it's a bunch of questions um, that are just like personality type questions, like how does your character talk? How do they carry themselves? When they walk into a room, what is like one word that people would describe your character as? And just like a bunch of questions I would never think about,
or
honestly.
how would they react to this situation? Yeah, I've seen that one, um, and I've seen that 5 4 3 2 1. But I've also heard some DMs not like using that one, and they put their own spin on it, and they ask the player to do it,
Exactly.
which I've done before. Like I've always asked players in certain campaigns, based on what campaign I'm running at the time, I'll ask them for different things. I'll say, hey, give me three people from your background that are important to you, relatives even. Give me two places you've been. I really want to know your age, but I 100% will almost always ask, how are you raised? Because were you in the poor district? Were you raised on the streets, literally groveling maybe with your mother or getting begging for scraps? Or were you part of maybe a semi royal or rich family that you were given a lot of stuff that, and all that will affect your character, not just going forward, but in life in general, based on how you're raised and based on where in society you were born.
Yeah, there could be some interesting things. I definitely need to see that 5 4 3 2 1. Like somebody's got to send that to me.
Yeah,
Like
I'll try to find it. It's probably just like buried in my Google Drive at this point, but it's somewhere. I know that
yeah,
it's
I would love to
somewhere.
see it.
Eh,
I actually do an interesting thing because a lot of people, so there's a lot of benefits from being, rich or whatever, and that's what a lot of people like will gravitate towards. And I don't want to punish that or anything, but just like there's the downside of kind of growing up poor is not having the resources in game, and somebody expects that they'll have these resources in game when they're rich. So there's a couple of things that can happen. Like if somebody is like, oh, we can decide that you don't have those connections anymore, or you can have situations where maybe you struggle to have a full rest when you're outside of a nice inn. Like you're so pampered, or you can't affect it. Like you've got to make extra rolls to essentially cook for yourself or set up your camp or your tent. And if you don't
Whoa.
do it well, and it's just, you don't end up I don't do big penalties, but I'll be like, hey, um, after your first battle or whatever, you're going to suffer exhaustion that's going to require you a short rest to get rid of just because you're not there. You're not, you did not get a good night's sleep because you're used to being on silk sheets in a plush bed and you had a wool blanket and in a leaky tent, and you just
or
could not deal with it.
or what I have done before to a rich character is I made them roll a d4 at the end of the day's travel, and they took that much damage because of the calluses on their feet and stuff, the
God.
blisters and stuff, because they ain't used to walking that much. They're used to being in a cart or buggy and stuff like that. And it was only a D4, so I mean,
You can tell
So,
those at level 1 that could kill the wizard. The rich
exactly.
wizard died from walking, like
Oof.
legitimately.
I have had wizards die from worse.
Yeah, yeah. You can tell those of us who didn't grow up rich, we're like, rich, huh? You suffered damage from living.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Take that. But I'm not rich in real life, but your character, and it's not fair. It's not fair, man.
um, so yeah, we've come up we've talked about pre-concept now
Yeah.
for quite a bit.
We've been a little bit all over the place with pre-concept, but
Yeah.
yes. Yeah,
Now,
I want to mention one thing really quick. So I tend to, one of the things that I'm a very visual person. So these are all really interesting conversations for me because I almost always 90% of the time start from character art. Like I have an image in my head and that drives that's where I start and it kind of drives everything
and
else.
and that's something too that I talked to Sarek a little bit about is when you're coming up with a concept, your concept's going to be fluid for a bit.
Yeah.
Because once you get to that artwork, you may see something in that artwork that you really like that you want to tie into your concept. So then you change your concept slightly, or you may change the artwork to better match your concept, vice versa. So these things at the beginning, until you actually roll stats, are going to be fluid. And even then, sometimes, especially with your background, it's going to be fluid for the first few sessions as you add more to it and stuff like that. Gamer has said in chat, I missed it earlier, but says that it's pretty, even though this conversation is pretty important, petting cats is also pretty important.
I agree. I agree. I got to go back to your channel. It is hosting in my channel.
Okay.
Ah.
Yes. So you didn't get the notification, but I was just on my channel and I can see the video like legit on my channel. So
Okay.
yay! So
Good.
you'll get more
Hi.
viewers. That's
Um,
lots of viewers.
so now what we talked about the pre-concept of pretty much asking DM, coming up with general ideas. Now we're going to come up with the actual concept. Where are we pulling our influences from? Some may say art, like Jamie just did. Others pull it from things like movies or TV shows or books.
Yeah.
Others, myself included, and in fact, one of my players, you'll may use in chat, we actually have pulled influence from songs, and I've actually pulled full campaign ideas from songs.
Yeah.
Um,
When I
and
used to play Marvel superheroes all the time, when I was like in high school, I pulled so many ideas for like villains, other like NPCs, campaigns from songs. Yeah, 100%. I'm vibing with that.
and you can literally pull, and this is what I want people to understand. You can pull ideas for these characters from anything.
Mhm.
Literally, you can look at a cereal box one day and be reading it, and all of a sudden get an idea and run with it.
Be that cereal mascot. That's happened on TPK. We had a full cereal mascot one shot.
Oh my!
that happened.
I
They got so into it. It was
I think
wild.
that would be super fun, especially if you like, if you're like legitimately like Tony the Tiger, Captain Crunch, Lucky, and the Tricks Rabbit. Oh
Yeah,
my god, now I can play that
my
workshop.
chat's going wild right now. So yeah, someone our fearless leader Kohlrabi was Toucan Sam, but he was a barbarian, so he was Toucan Slam. it was it was great. Oh no, we lost it.
I am loving it.
I can see it now. The next time we log into neverending.app, all of a sudden we're gonna see these serial mascot looking character
So
creations.
what? The
Are we
fancy
done?
inn was too crowded for you?
I'm not gonna
Come here.
lie, you might.
That's
It could
great.
happen.
Yeah, like as a player, like I find myself like more gravitating towards like one of two strategies a lot of the time. Like if I start with the character, sometimes I start with the name because I really like the name to like be significant and mean something for like who my character is and what they do, where they come from, that kind of thing. Because right now, like for example, I'm playing a Circle of Wildfire druid, right? And her name is Aster because Aster could mean like a star, a fiery thing out in space, or it also is a group of flowers, which being a druid, it's really helpful. So it's kind of a mix of the two aspects of that subclass that I really like.
Yeah.
So something like that, starting with the name, and then my other strategy is more going from just like a tiny, like little aspect of my. Oh, thank you for the follow, Be Never Ending. I got that notification. Um, or the other one, yeah, is just a small portion from my life experience. So, um, obviously not in the same like setting,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But let's go back to Aster, for example. Um, her experience or, her mentality of how she started this campaign is a lot like how I started undergrad. Just going to a very new place, like not really knowing what's going on, like totally different from like everything she's really experienced before and going to a completely new place, even though I wasn't really that far away. Everything was really different going from North Carolina to South Carolina. So that was kind of like the little shard of myself that I put into Aster's character.
And that's something too that people. I know gaming is a way to step out of reality, but
Yeah.
people also got to realize that every time they create a character, whether they mean to or not, a little bit of themselves go into it, and you can notice it every time. I've done so many characters. I've gone back and looked at them and been like, wow, that actually reminds me a lot of my time in Iraq, or that reminds me a lot of this or that. And even if you don't mean to, you're still pulling from experiences in your life. Some of us have pulled experiences from our time, either like you were just saying, heck, moving away from home. Others pull our daily lives and put them into these characters, like being outdoorsman. Like I hunt, I fish, I trap, I do all that, and I try to apply that to these NPCs. So I know a lot more about nature and how to track animals and stuff like that than the average person. So when I have a player in my group that's a ranger and they're talking about coming up with these things, and I'll actually sit down with them and be like, "Hey, did you know this, this, and this?" So that way, later on in the campaign, they can bring it up to the other players and be like, "Hey, my character goes and does this," and they're like, "Wait, your character do that? Well, it's a ranger, it's about hunting. That's part of hunting is tracking and this, that, the other thing." And it just makes it more livable or believable. And
Adds realism,
More,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, it adds that kind of that little bit of flavor. I it's an interesting thing. That's why I probably don't really enjoy playing evil characters because I don't like tapping into like I have a game where it's based in Ebenclad, which is a kickstarted 5e setting, which is kind of similar to Blades in the Dark. If anybody has ever seen that or played that, it's everybody's part of this thieves guild called Ebenclad, and it's kind of set in this cool setting. But not everybody is a thief. So I have this warlock, Caesarius. It's a really long name, but he's so arrogant. But he's also super charismatic, but he thinks that he's smarter than he is, but he gets away with it because he's super charismatic. And then he also uses his magic. And there are times I'm like, oh, I do not like him, but I play him. It's fun. It's in some ways he's fun. What I tend to do is I will tend to look at, so I'm very much about the creativity and expression, but I also tend to look at the utility. I'm like, what is it that I want this character to be able to do? What am I looking for their role to be in this game? So with Caesarius, he is very much kind of the face and the schmoozer, and he tries to be the leader even when he's not the leader. So that he has, it's funny because I talked before about like, hey, you don't want to derail, you don't want main character syndrome, and I put a lot of work into making sure that I'm not derailing and not being the main character, but at the same time, I use it for these little moments of mild interparty conflict, nothing like too serious. There's another person that we play with, and I'm really good friends with the player, and he has this goblin. He has this goblin character and Caesarius hates him because he's a filthy little goblin. Like, and Caesarius thinks of himself as a noble, even though he's not. But it's these moments, he's got this whole persona. I know how I want him to, what role I want him to fill, both from a mechanical perspective, but also from a kind of role playing perspective. He's the mildly grating,
that's true, gamer.
person, but he has an arc for example, this is the last thing I'll say, which is like he now is a lot closer with Snee. He has recognized Snee's value because Snee actually saved his life. And he's like, maybe this goblin is not all bad. Maybe he's actually kind of useful. So yeah, that's where my concept comes into play a lot. Is what's the role that I want this person to play in the party, and what do I want them to be able to do?
Exactly, and stepping off of that is once you have your concept and you have what role you want that character to play, that's the time to sit back and decide what race and class they're going to be. So if and it doesn't have to be like a min max combination. You can go for the exact opposite of what you want your role to be, and those are so fun to play, so fun to watch. I've seen characters that, which is another one I love to watch and play as, is completely like dumb characters. I've had a character with 3 intelligence and wisdom before, so they were dumber than their mounts, so they couldn't ride anything.
My God.
That's a little challenging. That's a little challenging. I definitely agree. It can be fun to have these kind of things that don't fit. 5e doesn't have this anymore, but 3.5 used to have negative racial modifiers. And so
Right.
yeah, I always used to think it was fun to play like a half orc sorcerer, or a character that had a negative racial modifier to something that was not their main stat, or But now in 5e, they've switched it now, obviously, but I would still then sometimes play like a mountain dwarf wizard, who wears armor, but they don't have this bonus to intelligence. Their bonus is to their constitution and their strength. But that still makes for a really interesting character because they don't have to be the smartest wizard. You don't always have to make the smartest wizard. Sometimes it's cool to have kind of a tanky wizard who's going around wearing armor. Like, it's just kind of the unexpected. And those quirks are really fun to like play with.
Exactly. It's like it's anything you want it to be. To like, don't let the numbers like constrain you to doing a certain thing. Like, I don't know how much either of you really know about Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, but it's a ancient Greek module, basically 5e. And yeah, Tyne's seen some of our episodes over at TGK playing this. We have a streamed game of this, and our rogue Ponos, he's a satyr rogue, played by the lovely Aldabiffer. Oh my god. This character has like 3 negative stats. Like, it is ridiculous. He is a rogue that has a negative dex, a negative constitution, I'm pretty sure negative strength as well. He has very high charisma and very high intelligence due to a circle of intellect at this point now. And what's cool about Odyssey of the Dragon Lords is that in addition to like race and class and all of this other stuff that you have to do, you have an epic path that plays into like what the end goal of your character is, kind of, and there's extra things you can get with it. And he's playing the cursed one, so this is kind of his cursed one. And even better, Al has managed to like put it like interweave it with his subclass, which is there are special ones for Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, which is for rogues, it's the Odyssean rogue. So Odysseus, per the Odyssey, was very cunning and had to like outthink his enemies in a lot of scenarios, and that's what Al does with his character a lot. And almost any scenario he tries to trick using his very high charisma and his very high intellect, because the other things he's really not as good at. So it's incredible what you can do with this kind of thing, especially adding to setting and whatever the module might let you do is just incredible, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I love that. I think that makes for a much more interesting character because it creates those opportunities for struggle, which is what makes the story interesting. When you're trying to problem solve, there's more interesting things going on when there are boundaries or when there are, big weaknesses along with big strengths. It's boring when it's just all wins. And I experience this in video games sometimes. I don't min max in like TTRPGs, but when I play, I'll often like I want to hit like all the side quests and stuff, and then my character gets to a point where they're so strong that the game gets boring. And you don't want that experience in the TTRPG setting. And you don't want to make your DM or your GM work so hard because all the characters are these munchkins. It's not fun for anybody then at that point.
Exactly. You don't want to make it too easy. And that's why like I almost hate it like when you roll stats instead of doing like point by your standard, right? If you roll and you get all positive or 0 modifiers, it's like that's not as fun. You need like at least like one negative one, just one, because it just makes things interesting. There's a spice to it.
And at the same time, with that, you don't want too many negatives either.
Yeah, I mean, Ponos is doing a great job.
I mean, I've had a character that I rolled in front of a DM and the rest of the table, and I rolled 3 18s and 3 3s.
Oh.
I min-maxed the crap out of it and made it a barbarian, a Goliath barbarian, but he was completely stupid. And this is where I always ask people, there used to be a website, and I can't for the life of me remember. I was looking for it just a minute ago while you were talking there. And it used to say it was for character creation. And it would say, how would your character deal with this situation? And it had a list of like 300 situations, and you go through. It would help you figure out like how would your character role play that situation essentially. But I can't find it now. And for him, his name was Kirker. He couldn't count past 10. Like he literally would put 10 coins in a pouch and put it on his hip, and that's all he had. And there was a runaway cart with a horse on it that was about to trample some kids, and the DM's like, "Well, what do you do?" And I was like, "I punched the horse." And he goes, "What?" I said, "I punched the horse." Kirker doesn't know any better. That's how he solves everything. Door lock, he punch it. Someone getting angry with him, he punches them. That's all he did was punch. So, but yeah, it's with me with my players. If they get more than 2 negative numbers, I have them re-roll all of them, the whole roll sets. Because for me, it's about having fun. I don't care how overpowered they are or anything. We can still have fun with the storytelling aspect and the role playing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You don't want anybody to be too powerful or too weak, because you run into that same thing. I have actually gone pretty much all to point buy. Just I get the randomness of it, but I found that people tend to like to feel like they fit with the rest of the party, and when you roll, then sometimes you'll have like wildly different stat levels, and new players especially I think will focus on that. So I have really enjoyed point buy. The things that I do is that I let you sell off because you start off with 8 on everything, I think.
Think
Or
so.
yeah,
It's been a bit.
I can't believe that I don't remember that off the top of my head, but it's been a long day. But I'll let you like take an 8 down to a 6 or a 7, and that'll buy you some additional points. So if you need to, if you're really like, look, I really want an 18 in this, and I really want like, because once because with point buy, as you get the higher sets, they're more expensive. It's not like just straight across. There was a site that I used to use all the time. Let me see if I can find it really, really quick. It was like Rooster or something.
And
Go ahead.
one thing too that while we're talking about this with the people out there about character creation, I also like to ask them as a DM, what makes your character unique? What makes them them? A lot of people create these fighters and they either min max or they don't. It doesn't matter. But their character doesn't have anything that makes them stand out as themselves. It's just human fighter or barbarian or human barbarian or what have you. They don't have anything either physically that makes them stand out as themselves. So when they describe themselves, "Oh, I'm a human." Well, what more is there to you? Everyone's human right now. Just tell us something else. Uh, is there maybe a scar on your cheek, or do you have a slight limp, or is there something that makes you you?
Yeah. By the way, I just threw in both your chats this chicken dinner, which is a 5e point buy calculator. What I like about it is that it has a section where you can do custom rules. So you can adjust the point costs, you can change the available points, and you can do like the minimum purchasable at thing, or it's really sweet. I love it a lot. I use it all the time. I always send it to players when they're doing point buy because it just makes it really easy, and it's a super clean interface.
Yeah,
But,
seriously. It's like that looks so easy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like so straight up like just clean, and it does one thing, and sometimes I like stuff that does one thing and one thing really well. Plus it's chicken dinner, chickendinner.com. And like sometimes I'm corny, and I do like to be like, winner, winner, chicken dinner. I'll do that all the time. My art team and developers are always like, but I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't stop me from being silly.
So I know we're all going to have different opinions on this
Yes.
section
Sure.
here, but how long do you guys think a character's backstory should be?
If it's less than 22 pages, I won't read it. I'm kidding.
Honestly, like, it's kind of whatever goes for me.
Yeah. Well, actually, so here's the thing. One of the reasons why by the way, my ADHD is off the hook, so I'm finding stuff on my table to like play with, and it helps me focus. But one of the reasons why we're building Never Ending, and why I'm really excited for us having an easy animation platform, is because I like cool backstories, and I've gotten them before and been like, gosh, I would love to read this, but it's really hard. And you can take, a 15-page backstory and turn that into a 2-minute animated video. Like, that's about how much content is there. Like 2 to 3 minutes. And I would watch a 2 to 3 minute animated video with all this stuff in it. That's super easy to do, but most people aren't artists or animators. So when they can do that, then I won't care. I'll be like, why don't you take this 40-page backstory and maybe make it into a 5-minute video, and I will watch that. But I love that people get that excited for it. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm like, just tell me at that point. Just tell me. You've got 10 minutes. Go. That's it.
Yeah, I think the most I typically do is like no more than 2 pages. Like, and that's I use big font too. Like, I don't use like, size 10 single space. Like,
They're like
I use bigger font.
7.5 font. They're like,
Yeah.
it's 2 pages. There's like a 1/4 inch margin on. They're like, it's 2 pages.
Yeah, like I also something I like to do is if I'm mentioning like specific like names of places and or names of like people, I'll put like an asterisk or like a little like footnote or something, and at the very end, like this is included in the 2 pages, at the very end to say like this person looks like this person looks like this place is there. So there's like a lot of spaces in between those. So I don't know if it exactly counts as 2 pages. Um, in terms of like actual subject matter, it might be more like one and like notes, but
Now,
Yeah.
I really like what you mentioned there because I actually have had players do that, and it's so great when they do because then I know what the if I'm going to add that character as an NPC perhaps or a place that they're going to visit, I have a little bit more of an idea of how to make it. I've had a player do that recently, and I made her whole home village around the ideas that she put into her backstory and described to me of what her village looked like, what the people were like, the role that her mom and her aunt played in the village, and stuff like that, and her dad. And I was able to put that all the. In fact, I went beyond because like her dad had a knack for animals and was like the the not really a stable master, but like the vet essentially of the village. And I made it to where like every animal that he come across, he had to go up and hug and squeeze and like pet and everything else, and like he had to be best friends with every animal he come across in there. And she's like, I didn't plan for that, but it was so funny. Like he literally would put them on royal carpets and stuff like that to bring them around town and bring them the best food. Um, but
Love it.
as far as how long I like backstories, I've gotten them all lengths. Um, I will say I don't like short backstories. If you give me a backstory of a paragraph, I'll read it and I'll go with it, but I honestly don't like them when they're that short. Um, I would rather have one that like Sir Hecklot said, a page or two. Usually that's my minimum. Um, but I've also gotten them as long as actually I got a 5 subject notebook one time that was a backstory.
Mm-hmm.
like completely finished from front to back of the 5-subject notebook. It was thicker than the DM's guide and everything. And I was like, holy crap. I read the whole thing, and I put a lot of it into the campaign, but it was like, that was a little much. Don't give me a novel when you're turning a backstory, please.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. I completely forgot, by the way, side note. So I teach Kung Fu at Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and I forgot to tell everyone that I wasn't gonna be there. because it's at 7. It's at 7 and Eastern, which is 6 p.m. your time, but it goes from like 7 to 8, and this was right at 8, and I was like, there's no way that I can do this. And I feel really bad because my student instructor was like, hey, do you have time for a 10-minute chat this evening? And I was like, oh, he's gonna tell me like, dude, you gotta let me know when you're not showing up. I feel bad.
So,
IRL stuff, sorry.
so just got the message that Purple I can show off the
chat and said, yeah.
Yeah, I got both chats open, so
Oh, so do
He's
I.
right there. She's
I'm
right there. Look
learning.
at that.
I'm learning.
I have so many things open right now, it's not even funny.
Next to the chat. Look at her. That's so cool.
I don't have chat up on my stream, but maybe next month.
Yeah. See if
Very cool.
It's so cool. It's so detailed. And you know, we're giving away another of these. You know,
Right? It's gonna be
if
great.
you want something like this, type exclamation point giveaway in my chat to check out the details for being eligible for the giveaway.
Yes.
Anyone can technically enter.
Yeah. So since Jamie is our first guest on Dungeons and Discussions, and they are our sponsor for the giveaways of the year sub to be neverending.app, along with the character commission. Jamie, why don't you give us a keyword for them to type into chat to enter the giveaway?
A keyword to type into chat for the giveaway. Kerfluffle. No, that's too hard.
My chat can't spell. Don't do that.
Neither can mine.
Supercalifrat. No.
I was waiting for socks.
Chicken dinner.
Chicken dinner. Yeah.
There we go. Chicken dinner.
It's both the cool point buy calculator for 5e and it comes with a rhyme. Winner, chicken dinner. Which you want to be a winner, right? So this time you're not going to win a chicken dinner. You're going to win a kick butt character commission and a year paid sub for the Neverending Character app, which gives you access to over 900 unique assets growing all the time. Like legitimately every week we have some new assets, and then sometimes we have like major huge asset dumps. So, and the scene creator is coming out soon. It's only going to have forward facing right now. We're going to wait. We were going to wait until we had like the 3D all of the 3D stuff done of all the 2D assets. But then we're like, let's just let people start making webcomics. Even if it's just forward facing characters, it could still be cool. So yeah, chicken dinner.
We had both people in chat say, no, I can't spell, and then other people saying, I can spell kerfluffle.
Yeah, that's what my chat's doing.
The problem is I can't spell it, so I wouldn't know if it was spelled correctly.
Yeah, I spell real good. Oh my god, Mr. Rogers.
So, just so everyone knows, when we give these words out, as long as you got it close enough, I'm writing your name down to enter the drawing because the bot doesn't pick it up. I'm doing it.
That's fair.
So, usually about this time, we would take a quick break. Yeah, it's already after 8. So why don't we do a quick break, maybe 5 minutes. We'll come back, And when we come back, that's when we will start, the three of us, using what we've already talked about to actually create a character. And I will pull up the Be Never Ending app so that way the viewers can see it in use. And we will actually create a character that the three of us come up with together, along with chat's help, of course.
I'm gonna say has to be a chaotic evil human, with rage issues, who doesn't like anybody, and who only speaks in a yelling voice, and
So my ex-wife.
steals. Oh my God.
I was gonna say we should name them Kyle, but okay.
Oh, okay. I was joking. I was like, what are all the terrible tropes I can put into this? All the terrible tropes.
We could put a ton of them in there.
No. No, we want to show off good character creation, So, yeah. And I just say they cannot be orphans with their parents having died in a tragic undead dragon goblin raid. Like, no. Or orc. None of
So,
those. No.
speaking of that, when we come back, I'll actually show off a character I recently made who wasn't an orphan, but has a similar or a similar like tragic style backstory. And so many people go with the orphan thing. It's, to me, it's just burnt over. I can't even do anymore. But I have several ways that players can still apply tragedy to their backstories and to their characters and so that. And I'm going to show off a couple of that with the characters I've made and sort of go over before we actually start creating ours.
I had a character really quick, a little girl character, who said that she was an orphan, but she was not. She was not an orphan. And we used some of the halfling stats to
Cool,
work with
that goes
the
to
little
me.
girl. I made her strength really low and stuff, but she was a warlock, and she
My
was
God. Of course she was a warlock.
of course, right? And she said that she was an orphan, and she'd be like, yeah, it was really, she had a bond with one of the other characters who was this Goliath, but who was like a sorcerer, and was trying to like guide her along a good path because she did not lean towards a good path. But it was very interesting. But that's the closest that I think I've come to having like a character who's an orphan, one that said that she was, but was not. So, anyways, you want to take a break? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Let's
Oh,
go ahead
Chat.
and take a quick 5 minute.
Stick around, chat. We'll be back.
we'll be back.
All right, I'm on the
Yep, me too. How is chats doing? Hopefully everyone is doing all right. I'll unmute the rest of them when the time comes. Hey, I'm glad to see everyone here. It really is nice to see everyone. Again, chicken dinner.
I just really haven't anything. I was like, I'm like, so I just chips really fast. It's fun, delicious, pure and simple. Only 4 ingredients.
Oh, look at all this wholesome chat happening in my chat. Oh, talking about all their characters.
Yes, lots of people have been talking about their characters. In fact, some of the people that I've been talking about and talking about their characters' backstories and stuff have been commenting, yes, that was so much fun to do that. It was great backstory and tons of comments about that. That's one thing that I was lucky enough to have is I have some amazing players. I've been blessed beyond belief to have some of the players I've had. Um, I've only had bad players literally 4 times in the many years I've been DMing since '89. So I've been very blessed and very creative people.
Oh, chills. It's about to be 19 degrees here
Oh,
in Cleveland, Ohio. So cold.
yeah, it was like 70 earlier here in North Carolina. Like, it was so warm today. Oh, look at it. Oh my gosh, the baby.
She's like, don't hold him.
Oh my goodness.
She usually
That's a
hates
happy
being
cat.
held. She hates being held. But she loves me and she loves kisses.
Face. Oh my gosh.
She's like, I do not love kisses. I
I
think you
crave
do.
violence.
No, right? There's actually a cat that I'm fostering that I need to get a home for called Little Ghost. And he's like totally chill. He's all gray. He's a chonk now though. But he's like totally chill with kisses. He's like he doesn't like turn away or anything. You can put your face right in his face. And he's like, it's like, yeah, dude, give me kisses. I'm chill. I'm
Yeah,
like,
my cats are like that now. Now that they're old, though, when they were younger, they weren't like that. But they're 18 now, so they're just like,
they're like, we can't be bothered. Just whatever.
exactly.
18. Wow.
Mhm.
That is really old for a cat.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think I've ever had a cat, any pet live that long.
And the last cat that we had before these two lived to be 21, which is just crazy. I don't know. My family just has old cats.
I guess so. That's impressive. How do you guys have ads on your things?
Oh, pre-roll ads?
Yeah.
It's something that you can enable if you are a Twitch affiliate.
Oh,
Guessing you
we
guys
just
are
got
affiliate?
affiliate. We just got affiliate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a setting that you can put on.
first I have to do the onboarding, but we got it in 12 days. I
That's
was blown away.
amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was hired by a company. I ain't gonna say it because I no longer support them after finding their business model and stuff. To be their streamer about a year and a half ago, and I started streaming for them. I set up their Twitch for them, everything, and we got it within 2 weeks.
Nice. Yeah. It's doable. It was some work, but it was doable.
Mine took me forever to get mine, but that's what I get for banning a toxic Twitch employee from my chat and getting my account flagged, and then finding out later after I reapplied multiple times that that employee is no longer with them, that they were fired, and that's when they found out that there was like 60 something accounts that were flagged because of him. All right, so we ready to go back?
Yeah.
Are we going to do the screen share? It would be a good time to do that now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just so I can like cut out the window and just have the overlay look clean.
Yes. Share by Screeny. Which freaking page is it? There you go. I have to have mine pretty much straight up the just the web page. I can't share it to my own XSplit, unfortunately. But I can do.
Let's try to do this with full screen. This is going to be easier. I like to window my Streamlabs OBS, but
Oops. So from this point on, to those watching the dual stream, they can hear me. I don't know if Dracula's got me unmuted yet over there. It will look a little different.
still cutting out windows on my side.
We're gonna have this up real soon. It's gonna be cool. Oh, we get to see some of your achievements. That's fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, and
Those
again,
are
the days on platform is still wrong, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. We haven't had a chance to dig into that. There's so many other things going on. It's hard to dig into that. But we also need to make it so that you can change the rotation of your profile image. But we do at least have rewards attached to We Need a Hero, which gets you like this set that we call the Monkey set. That's what you get for the first one, which it looks nothing like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. In fact, I don't even know who that is. So I'm just saying that if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z and you think it looks like Goku, you don't know what you're talking about. It's clearly nothing like that. And then when you get level 2, after you've created like 10 characters on the app, you unlock a bunch of anime faces, which are also not even remotely similar to Dragon Ball Z. Just saying.
Or Sailor Moon or anything like that.
Oh, that's a good
Right,
idea.
I'm about to talk to my stream real fast. Get transition
Okay.
back in here with the map and everything. And we are back. Welcome back. We're here with the character creator.
We're back.
Yeah, we're talking about anime characters.
Right? We were just doing, yeah. I thought we were actually on while I was like randomly.
Oh, you were on my end because I was
Oh.
in order to set up things, I actually have to switch scenes.
Yeah.
So while I was setting up the cameras and stuff, like I was mentioning, it's going to be different now between Sir Hecklot's stream and mine because
Oh,
I don't have a way to actually put the screen capture in on top
oh,
of the background stuff without doing it
I-
full screen where people can see it.
yeah. You don't use OBS?
No,
I
I use XSplit.
saying it like I know anything about what OBS is. I'm like so spoiled because I don't have to deal with any of that. But I'm like, oh, you don't use OBS.
Yeah, XSplit sounds like another planet to me, I'll be honest. I don't understand any
XSplit
of
was
that
actually
work.
first, and the whole reason I use them is, like I said, I've been at this 15 years now, and I backed them in a crowdfunding, so I got a lifetime subscription to
Oh,
them
nice.
for like $20. Now
Oh,
it's like $20 a month to use them. So
yeah, I can see why you might might kind of stick with that.
I don't like change too much, so I stick with what I know.
Well, yeah, it's sometimes good to get our money's worth.
So yes, right now I only have 3 names for the giveaway. So if you guys want to enter, it is Chicken Dinner. The giveaway will give you will win a year subscription to Be Neverending.app, which we will be featuring every month a little bit here and there. This month in particular, we're going to be showing off as we make this character together. I'll be showing off some of my other characters I've created. You'll also be winning a character commission, which if you guys don't know, those are expensive. So now's the perfect time to get one.
Yeah, that is usually you're going to pay anywhere from 75 bucks on the very low end to easily 225 for a full body, full color, easily. So yeah, it's a great way to get it. So
And they look fantastic. I'm gonna put on the purple fill one last episode on this scene as well, just so people can see. Like it's really good art.
yeah,
Green.
I agree. I mean, and I'm not biased at all.
How amazing that is.
I'm not biased at all.
Yeah, not biased at all, but like look how
This is exciting. I can't wait to dive into the character builder. This will be fun.
So, like I mentioned, I have a lot of characters I've made on here already. I'm up to 28 now.
Mm.
Before we get into it, though,
By the way, I think 2 more and you unlock We Need a Hero 3, level 3, and then you get some more cool pieces. It's either I think it goes your first character, 10 characters and 30, but it might be 50. It's a
I'll
lot.
figure it out eventually when I get to it.
Yeah.
So, like we were talking about with tragic backstories and people talking about orphan 99% of the time, that's a tragic backstory. So, this character here, Casilda Barmaid, was born into a poor family. She, her parents owed a lot of money to a lot of people, and she was actually sold into servitude of the tavern owner, where she had to work every day when she was growing up in order to help pay her parents' debts. And she pretty much grew up in the tavern, being there from time they opened till they closed, cleaning up the place. She would go gather herbs and stuff for the meals, and that's when she got her pet hawk that she found outside of a nest, and she nursed it back to health. That's why you see it on there over her shoulder.
Nice.
But the tragedy here is the fact that she wants to be free of all the debt of her family and wants to get out there and see the world the way her hawk sees it. But
Oh.
until the debt is paid off, she is stuck here, and she's still
So how
working
does she
that.
go adventuring? Or has that not been established yet?
Not yet
Or is she just
established.
an NPC?
ooh.
It's not been established. It will be.
That's fair.
I literally just the other day when you were creating a character on your stream, that's when I was working on her.
Oh, okay, when we were making Horace Alfred Hubert III.
And for those that were here last month's episode, you seen the character I made of myself, including my gray vest and stuff that was here during last episode,
I'll
last month, where
click on. Let's see him.
uh, same black shirt, vest, scruffy beard, hair.
Thumbs
There he
up.
is.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
And like I said, I've made tons of characters on here, some of which are Twitch personalities and streamers. Others are from TikTok or whatnot. Others are for NPCs for campaigns or folklore. Here's Anne Bonny. She was a very historic female pirate, and I did a whole campaign based on her. And I created her on here first to show what she looked like. She was known for her red hair. She was also known for baring her breasts to fight pirates on the deck to distract them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't cover that in the campaign, but
I mean, yeah, if it's a stream campaign, TOS.
Yeah.
And then we got Leech. This is another one with a tragic backstory. When he was only about 5 years old, his younger sibling was born, and his mother died giving birth to the younger sibling. He is half elf. His father was human. His mother was elf. The father ended up leaving his little brother to an elven family, knowing he had more elven traits and would be raised better. And because the father had blamed Leech here on his mother's death for other reasons, because she had been sickly ever since she gave birth to him, the father tried to actually kill him and drowned him in a nearby river and thought he was dead, and Leech floated downstream and was rescued by someone.
Aww.
And then was the person that rescued him, the lady that rescued him, was in an abusive relationship and beat her and threw him out on the streets. And he actually ended up having to try to grovel, steal food, and then eventually was kicked out of town for a fight he got involved in, and was sent out where he survived in the woods. And he watched this hunter and trapper for years, hiding himself in a old hollowed out log. That's where he lived, watching this trapper and stuff to survive. And that's where he learned his skills of being in the woods. So he has one goal to get the necklace that his mother had originally given to him, but the father had given to the younger brother, back.
Or revenge arc, maybe. I like that kind of thing.
I just want to give him a rotisserie chicken and a hug.
Right? Yeah, it's just like he's had a tough break.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you actually read his story, his backstory is the one that was flagged because I put something in there and it marked it as meth.
Meth.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
I don't know why. I had gone through our bad word filter the first time and I took out a ton of words, and I think that the edited version didn't make it in. But we're gonna kill that bad word filter shortly as soon as we release the version that has the reporting feature in it. And then you won't have issues where you can't write breastplate. So
there's quite a few issues, but they're working on it, guys. Jamie knows there's a bug list a mile long, and
Yeah.
about 3/4 of a mile of that is stuff I've submitted.
yeah.
But they're working on it.
We have 3.5 developers, so it takes a while. It takes a while. You know, it's not a big team. Our art team is huge, you know, but on the development side, it's not so huge.
My players will actually recognize this feather here as Otelli. He took on a hag's deal and ended up was forced to go back to his village and try it for the hag to give him the power to save his village, and then he didn't know what he was agreeing to. She then told him he had to kill the mayor's daughter, and he refused. So the hag put a curse on the whole village, slowly turning them all undead, with the exception of his family, who ended up being killed by the undead. The undead would rise every night. He himself was blessed but cursed with the undead trait, where he didn't have to eat or sleep or anything, being undead himself, but he didn't have the urge of eating flesh. And his whole thing at that point was to protect outsiders from his village, and actually killing the other villagers that he had there to keep them from killing outsiders or traveling out to other villages. That was his goal. He was trying to protect the rest of the world from his village.
Never take a hag deal. Never take a hag deal.
Well, he didn't realize it. He was young. He heard like his village was constantly being attacked, and there was this blue rose that floated in front of him that said, "Grab the rose if you wish to have the power to protect your village," and he took it.
Oh, that's mean. Like, that's neat. I'd be like, look, I did not get to read the full terms and conditions before I accepted the rose. There was no mention. Yeah. Hags are actually one of my favorite monsters, even though they're not super powerful. And I think that you can bump their CR up if you play them correctly, and if you think about the fact that they probably have a lot of like one use or, like kind of weird and odd magic items and things like that that they can rely on, then I think that you can make hags like really powerful, and that's what I usually do.
And
Like,
if you play them as a coven instead of just one, they actually get more access to like more spells and stuff, and combine like spell slots if you play them
I
as a
think
bunch.
hags should have lair actions, don't you?
Yeah, they should.
Like of all the, monsters, like hags should definitely have lair actions. And yeah, covens are really cool. I actually think that covens are underpowered. I think that they should have a little bit, like a
They
few
should
more
do.
spells, like to make it like, because hags hate each other. So there has to be something that gets them to be like, look, it is too sweet of a deal when we combine our powers. No.
And this is the NPC that I created because all my worlds are tied together between the different campaigns and stuff like that. This was NPC. I had not given it a name or anything, but I had hinted that he was related to one of the player's old characters from another campaign, and hinted at a little bit and stuff like that until they found out that he was a grand nephew or something like that of this player's character, and then the party decided to name him Nelson. So he got named Nelson. I went into more detail. I actually created art for him here.
Nelson.
Yeah, he's half elf, half Goliath.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And he's a fighter, of course, but he was part of a pirate campaign. He was actually the deckhand on that ship.
I just wrote the devs that it looks like we have a bug where when you do a gripping hand, it's uncoloring it.
Yes, it just started recently.
Yeah, so they're trying. So probably what did it is they have been working on the color picker so that it doesn't have that slight delay when you. And I think we have a solution now, but it's gonna not go live for a little while. So what kind of character do we want to create?
Yeah, who do we want to make? Do we want to make that chaotic evil character that we were talking?
No.
Okay, no, okay.
No.
All
Do we
right,
want to
can
think about
we
the
use
class
one?
first or a background?
Oh yeah. Purple in the chat. Let's make a bard in honor of Cole.
No bards. About we could do like a dwarf wizard, like that's kind of an unusual, or we could do a half orc something, or I don't know why. I'm open to suggest. I don't care. I'm down
You're fine,
for
Love Shack.
whatever you guys decide.
I'm still
Whatever the
taking
build, they
names.
should be buff. Let's use one of the buff.
I still want
build.
scrawny old man body, like scrawnier than this even. So like oh God, what was that show where the old man's like just a wood? He lives in the woodlands. He just got loincloth on. It's like just string noodle
Oh,
arms and legs.
yes. I know what you're talking about. We actually have that with our like that's very similar to like the banshee body that we have for it. It's not for one of the characters, but it's we're working on monsters right now for the scene creator and doing character sheets of them. But we've got some really thin ones because we've got undead, So maybe I'll send those just to you, Tom.
That works.
Right.
So
Well, the dwarf body is buff, and the beefy body is buff.
Yes.
Actually, what's funny? Have you guys noticed that if you look at the muscular ones, the female, the one that codes female, the arms are bigger. No, above that, just above that one.
that one, yeah.
Did you see that the
Yeah.
arms are bigger? Like she's like, you think that's buff? This is buff.
It's like
And
that sports
and that's
clip.
like, huh?
It's like that sports clip where I forget if it was a football game or basketball game where they're like muscle madness and the camera's panning around and it pans to this guy in the stadium and he takes off his jacket and he starts stretching and the woman behind him steps up, rips off her shirt and she's like twice the size he is, like she's jacked and she starts flexing and he just sits back down, covers his head.
Yes. Oh wait, I saw that. That was like a live thing. It was actually, yeah, I remember. That was awesome.
So we want someone that's jacked. How jacked though?
I feel like the moderately jacked.
And like, do we want to go with the coding female or coding male? I'm open to either. I do like the big arms on the female.
Yeah.
No lie. I think that's super
All right,
cool.
let's do that then.
All
Where
right.
do we go from there? So Duskkunin just asked a question about where do we start the character alignment and fill out from there. Alignment is like one of the last things that I go for. Like I said, I really go for like either I'll start from art or I go, how do I want this character to function, in the party? Or I'll just like a cool idea, like a cool, like origin class combination that is interesting to me. That's
I'll be honest, I forget about alignment a lot when I make my character, and then I'll see it on the character sheet, and I'm like, I still have to I have to fill that out. Like, I don't know, just like categorizing someone's entire like moral standing in like one little box, like
that's
doesn't entirely make sense to me. The alignment system is kind of broken, but
To me, honestly, alignment, like Jamie was saying, is one of the last things. But the way I do it is I wait until my backstory is finished. And then I look back and I say, okay, well, how would this backstory affect my character's view on the world? Would it cause them to hate certain things to be maybe less lawful? Or maybe they may break the law because of this one thing, so it makes it more neutral. Or maybe because the backstory has given them an outlook to where they want to save people that were like them growing up, or keep them from that happening to them. So they may be extremely good, trying to stop all the hardships of the world. So alignment is usually the last thing. It's usually after I get the backstory, and I want to see where the backstory leads them.
Yeah, so Kunin is like the same. Alignment comes afterwards. I have to like look way over to see the chat. I should just pull it.
you're totally fine.
And and by the way, if I pronounce your like chat name wrong, I apologize. Just throw it in phonetically or something.
So, do we want the character to be short, tall? What race do we want to make?
Well, there are lots of ear options you could like. I don't know. Do we want to think about it in terms of again? Like, I think we haven't even now that they're buff. Before we get to race, do we want to decide like what they're gonna be like because a lot of times that'll then inform race because I'll either go with something that fits with that or I'll go with something that does not fit with it at all. Like
Exactly.
like I'm totally like I'll be like barbarian and I'll be like halfling, or I'll go towards the tropey one, like a Goliath or a fork. But sometimes it's
Goblin.
just fun to do something different. A goblin barbarian.
Goblin. Yes.
Oh yeah, let's do it. We can do
Let's do
that.
it.
We
Let's
can
do
do
it.
a
Buff
goblin.
Goblin.
We can do a goblin barbarian. You might want to pick a different head then, or not.
I could pick a
Like
different head. I'm just trying to get the
yeah,
body color roughly where I
no,
want it.
Oh my
Good.
gosh, Don.
I love
Have Goliath, Kenku, Bard, Monk, multi-class at level 3. That's ridiculous.
I
like
had a goblin barbarian that all he did, he loved the taste of kneecaps. So he would literally bite their kneecaps off. I'm going to jump
That's
I-
right
very
to
painful.
ears. What kind of ears do we want to give him? Big floppy ones?
like
Yes.
yeah, I dig those. Like yeah, those are like ooh
Ooh, the piercings though.
yeah, the piercings are sharp.
Do you want the 3 piercings or just a single on each side?
I like the 3.
Yeah, I dig it. Oh, that does look good too, though.
How
Both are good.
hardcore do we want our barbarian goblin to be?
Hardcore. Hardcore.
Let's see. For colors of earrings, we'll just go with solid gold for now, or goldish.
Yeah. Sweet. I'm glad that the color picker is not like totally like being funky for you.
It does from times, like when
Yeah.
I'm dragging it around, it'll save like 4
Oh,
colors, and I'm like, I didn't want to save any of those.
I know. I know. We didn't build the color picker. We we used a library because, it's a lot of work.
So,
Mhm.
being this is obviously identifying as female, do we want to
But
go with
they're those
female eyes
cool.
or the animate eyes?
I think we can do anime eyes, or we can do
Yeah.
there are those, if you go up a little bit, there were those like, oh, those are pretty cool. But if you go up, see those like dragony ones, like there, or even the other ones. Like that could work for like I don't know. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be. I'm just thinking like, how do we like I want to definitely communicate goblin, I think. But there are a lot of eyes to choose from.
There we go. That
Mm.
communicates goblin right there.
That could definitely communicate goblin if you wanted to.
A sensuous goblin. That's what we'll go for.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, the wink though. Oh my
Not
god.
the wink, not the wink. The wink
Just a
is
little cursed. Just a little cursed.
And of course, you got goggles and everything else that people
Mhm.
can use.
yeah. Actually, we're bringing in some new part sets so that some of that stuff will be in eyewear. So we'll have eyewear, tabards, um, there's facial scars, facial makeup, tattoos for the body and the face, and then yeah. So I'm kind of excited for the facial stuff and also for the eyewear,
So,
because finally
what color eyes do we want it to have? Yellow, red.
yellow sclera with red uh pupils.
Well, props to you for knowing the word sclera. Not a lot of people do.
Thank you.
I just say that because I'm a vet student, so it's like one of the terms that like we actually have to know.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's that white, all that white part of the eye and stuff. Yeah, I'm a big science nerd, so that's
We
why.
love to see it. Yes.
Yes.
Do we want big bushy eyebrows or none at all or just little lines?
I'm not
Hmm.
picking. I picked lots of stuff, I feel like.
Yeah, I like the little lines, I think.
There are some little lines that have cuts that you might want to see.
Ooh, yeah, like a notch. Oh, that'd be cool.
Those are
Yeah, I was looking for a stern one with the little notch, but I didn't see one.
oh really? There should be right there.
Yeah, these are big.
Oh, I see. Yeah, those are a little bigger. There should be up. There should be in the look at me. I'm looking like I can like move it. Should be. Huh. I thought for sure. Oh, right there to the to no over. You were there to the. Oh no, those are two raised. You're right. It's I guess they don't.
Yeah, the
I
only
guess,
small ones are down here lower.
oh, my bad. I'll see
And
if we can get one of those notched. It's that's easy. That's like super easy. This is like one of the great places where if you were to hit that question mark and you sent like a feedback and we're like we like people to make art requests and we respond to those pretty commonly. Yeah, there's like support and feedback,
yeah,
but don't click it because it'll take you away.
yes, I know. I've done it many times. So now we're gonna go to the skin. Of course, we can do the robotic type. We can do the basic, which is what it already is.
No,
You
that
can.
isn't basic. That is bird.
Oh, that's bird. That's right. Which
Bird
gives you a bunch
skin.
of feathers and stuff like that. And then you
Yeah.
got the scaly. You got extra hairy, and then extra hairy.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna leave
Need
it
any of
like it
these?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like you said, the supernatural stuff. You got antlers. Now, for those that are watching, these grayed out features here, those are either A, coming soon, or part of an art pack that is separate.
Or part of an achievement.
Achievement, yes.
Yeah, so they might not have been activated yet. We will have achievements where you can buy them, as well. But like those were part of a holiday achievement. So if you came on during the week of Christmas, like then you got them.
Um, and then, of course, we got tails, which we ain't going to use, obviously, for this, but you got owl feathers and other bird feathers. You got your mammal tails of different types. You have your dragon and lizard folk type tails. You got your kitsune type tails. And then, of course, like your mythical beast tails as well. Wings are the exact same. You got your bat, your angel, your butterfly, which I really wish I had these two here unlocked. Oh, they're so gorgeous.
They'll
All of
soon.
these are. I actually have a character with one of these unlocked and on it. Um, they're so gorgeously colored and it's so amazing. But yeah,
Our
you got
Kickstarters, the people who backed us on Kickstarter have them.
they're so beautifully done.
Yeah.
But of course we ain't gonna use that. We're doing a goblin. Uh,
Do we want to
hair.
throw like the face on first before the hair,
Yeah,
like at the
we can do that.
nose and stuff? I don't know why it's weird that we go in this order. It's because the facial hairs at the bottom, but I always end up going out of order because I want to get like the nose and the
Mm.
and the mouth and stuff. There's so many mouths.
Tons of them.
Big smile.
I know, right?
Mischievous.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I do like that one.
I do like that.
Mr. Rogers is saying it looks like Piccolo from Dragon
Oh
Ball Z.
no!
Oh my god,
Yes.
it does.
We don't know anything about DBC.
Yeah, I don't even
Yeah, no
know.
idea.
Here we go. Give him like a dog nose. Or
Oh,
rabbit,
that's
sorry.
the bottom
Oh my god.
the bottom part for the rabbit.
I can't unsee that.
I know, right?
You're welcome. Give him an underbite.
Oh, that might be good.
Oh yeah, because that's kind of like the that's kind of goblin-y.
Yeah, I like it. Maybe like the little.
Do we want like just the straight jawed, or do we want the smirk or the frown?
I don't know. I what do you guys think? Like this I'm gonna dig in this the can you put the smiling one on so that we can see it again? I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Oh, see, that's nice. It's
Yeah.
not like a big smile. It's like
No,
just
It's
enough.
just small,
It's-
yeah. It kind of makes the teeth look smaller. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, I like that too.
All right. Moving on to nose. Now, for those interested, if this was a beast type face, you can use the beast snouts, which they have a ton of. But we're going to stick with the humanoid. Uh-oh, it's loading a bit.
Yeah. We get one of the goblin ones. I hope we get one of the goblin messages looking for treasure. You might want to hit the save just in case. Although it actively luring goblins finally.
Uh-huh.
Munching on heroes. That way, if you have to refresh to get it
Yeah.
to load, sometimes it gets into a loop.
I've also noticed too that if it gets like that, I can usually go up here because that seems to load the fastest for some reason with the heads,
Oh,
and then come back down,
nice workaround.
and then before I even on, I just had it.
It's weird.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
So of course you got like this simple little dot of a nose. You got the nostrils. You get some of the bigger noses.
I would lean towards a bigger nose because it is a goblin. Oh, there are a lot of bigger noses. And now they all have fills, which is so fantastic because before, oh, although that one with the scar is pretty cool.
Oh, that's pretty nice. I like that.
The one with
Yeah.
the scar on it, or the pointy one?
Yeah. I like the scar.
Sir Heckelek likes the scar. I dig it too. I dig it too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can change the color of the scar so that way it like stands out a little bit.
Like that, so it's still like oozing almost.
Oh my god, oozing is
Okay.
like,
Fresh. All right.
right?
All right. So now we got the face.
Now say it looks like Piccolo because it doesn't.
Yes.
Now we want to give it hair.
I know which hair. I am already sold on the punk mohawk. It is one of the best hairs because it has 2 or 3 colors. Oh, maybe not. I thought I was sold, but I'm not necessarily sold. I mean, if other people like it, that's chill. That's cool.
There are tons of hair options, guys.
Ooh, that was
I'm
cool.
The mohawk to the side like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta keep looking at your screen
Oh,
to
my
think.
ponytail. Oh, God.
My pony is very that one's kind of cool with the multiple colors. Or because you can do multiple colors on that one too.
And real quick, while we're here, with the dreads and stuff like that, I know I talked about this last episode we had, but you actually brought in a special artist to do these hairstyles, so it'd be culturally appropriate.
Yeah, not all of them, but we did bring on Morgan. Morg City is her tag, and she did a bunch of black hairstyles for us, a bunch of textured natural hairstyles, as well as some facial features. So, she's just a great artist. That's one of hers. And Neverending is very much about representation because it's important for everybody to feel welcome at the table, to feel seen at the table, and to feel like they're the hero of their own story. And so we thought, well, then we need hairstyles and body types and outfits and things that reflect that appropriately. So, like, I'm super excited. Like, one of the reasons why, we're rolling out scars is so that we can have transition scars. That's a very important thing. We felt like that's a step in the right direction. We brought on a trans consultant early. We haven't been able to implement all of his suggestions, but it's an ongoing process, and that was one of the things that we definitely wanted to do. So I'm excited that we're going to be rolling that out.
Here we go. We'll give it Sir Heck-a-Lot hair.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, that looks like me. What do you...
Oh my God, love it.
Okay.
No, it's up to y'all. What
You
kind
know
of hair
what?
you want?
I'm fine with that. Yeah, let's give her my hair. I'm okay with that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
There we go. More fitting.
Although, like, it's so grown out right now.
Sir Goblin Lot.
Oh.
I like that purple.
Is this going out? I so need to get a cut. Look at this. It's like so. Sometimes I look like one of those TikTok boys. Well, I'm like, my hair's all like. I know, right?
So
cool. We have the goblin, but barbarian. That's right, goblin barbarian. What's the background for this character, though? Are they a typical outlander? Are they an urchin? Are they a noble? But it's just a noble within the goblin clans.
Yeah, what if they were a sailor? Like a sailor background.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of sick. And a sailor barbarian could be really cool. That gives you a lot of interesting things that you can do to,
Yeah, the muscle on the crew.
right? Exactly.
now, before we go much further, we are approaching that time. We've been talking already for 2 hours. So we will have to be cutting it very soon because otherwise I can't post it as a podcast because they have a 2-hour limit on there.
Oh, so then we should wrap up.
Yeah.
We got pretty far. We know that we have a female buff goblin with a sailor background who is a barbarian.
Yeah, that's pretty far.
That is pretty far. So let's use Sir Hecalot, said that she likes to have names that mean something. Okay. Goblins often pick, I think, either semi-literal or very sound, like names that have interesting sound qualities. So what would be some, fishy or seaworthy names? This is going to be hard to spell. Anemone. That's too hard. That's too hard. That's too hard. But it sounds like enemy. Shanty. What about Shanty?
Shanty would be cool. Or like Coral.
Coral is cool.
Shanty is cool. I think I like that one the most, though.
Okay.
All right. Well, we got as far as we can get that in 2 hours.
Yeah. Real quick though, we're gonna do the drawing for the giveaway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give people another 2 minutes, real quick, to enter.
All you have to do is write chicken dinner in chat, right?
Yep.
Yep. Chicken dinner in the chat. Either one of our chats.
So because we're running out of time, while you guys in chat are doing that, um, why don't we go around and do our outros, and then I'll do the drawing right after.
Okay. I can start. I'm the one that's furthest over on my overlay, so I'll just go with that. Hey everybody, it's me, Sir Heckalot. You can find me on all the social medias at Sir Heckalot. In terms of the TTRPG space, I'm just kind of everywhere. You can find me on TPK Roleplay every other Tuesday and Thursday, and then Neon Lights Roleplay every other Sunday. Um, this Saturday, you can find me over at Hard Knock Dice. I'm going to be playing a green dragon. It's going to be very. I'm so excited for it. This coming Wednesday is going to be the finale of our Locust mini campaign over at the Lost Caravan RPG. So you won't want to miss it. It's going to be wild. I think that's about it. Let's keep on moving on.
Keep it on.
So, wow, Jamie, you go next.
Sure. I am Jimmy Van Doren. It's best to find me actually all I care about is you actually finding Be Never Ending. So we are at Be Never Ending. That's BeNeverending everywhere. So Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Check us out. Check out our content. I'll be streaming Friday with Anthony Joyce Rivera and Dave from Nerdarchy. We're going to be talking about magic weapons and magic weapon design. We'll be on the Be Never Ending Twitch channel. And we'll be reviewing, in addition to talking about magic item design, we're going to be reviewing and revealing the winners of the magic weapon contest that we sponsored at Unearthed Arcana. There were 44 submissions, some really sweet homebrew magic items or magic weapons, and the winner of that wins the 3-book D&D rules expansion gift set, and the second and third place winners each win a D&D book of their choice. So we got some really cool submissions that you guys should check out. So come join us tomorrow, Friday at 2:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. I can't math. But yeah.
And of course, I am Tyne of Tyne's Dungeon. You guys have already found my Twitch page. I am all over in the TTRPG world. Not like Heck though. Heck's like in the streams and stuff. I'm there chatting, usually giving disadvantage to Heck just for fun.
He does do that.
But also, I will be on the Never Ending stream next Tuesday, I believe it was.
This coming Tuesday.
Yeah, this coming Tuesday. I forget the time, but I have it wrote down. I swear.
It's at 2:00 Eastern, which is 11 Pacific, I think. So 11 Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be making villagers, townfolk tokens.
Yep.
Tokens.
We're going over all the things that I do to prepare for townsfolk and the whole 9 yards there, because there's a lot of things missing from townsfolk tokens and images all over that. They're always lacking. But yeah, you can find me there. Find me on Twitter. You can find me, Tynes Dungeon, everywhere. You can literally email me, tynesdungeon@gmail.com. And that is it for me. So, real quick, we're going to do the drawing.
We don't look at it.
I have 4 people entered so far.
Did we get anybody on Sir Heckalot's page?
Yes. Got Kraken Style from Sir Heckalot. Yeah. I didn't see anyone else enter on Sir Heckalot's.
I did not either. I only saw Kraken.
Wow.
Anybody? It's not too late. This is like the last call.
Yeah.
Chicken dinner in chat.
I'm surprised Mr. Rogers' Blood and Sweater isn't in there.
Purple won it last one. I know a lot of people already have subs, but remember you can. Oh, there we go. One more from Sir Heckalot.
There we go.
Oh, yes.
All right, now I feel good because we've got at least.
It's not a 25% chance. That was a 20% chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, everyone that's entered, I'm going to do the drawing now. You will win a year subscription to BeNeverending.app and a character commission.
That's
Uh,
the stuff right there.
Please make sure you have your Twitch settings to where I can message you directly in Twitch. It's the only way I can get a hold of you guys to make sure whether you've won. And then from there, I will be requiring an email and stuff like that so we can get in contact with you. And then I'll be forwarding all that to Jamie, and then Jamie takes care of the rest.
Yes.
So here we go.
Oh, I'm
Who's it gonna
excited.
be? Who's it gonna be?
Icy Racer.
I see right through.
I already have your information. Well, I have your contact information, so I will be getting a hold of you. Congratulations.
Winner, chicken dinner.
It will be after stream, so that way I don't accidentally show your information to others.
Very fair.
Right.
But with that, I think we're gonna call it. You ready to do the outro video thingy majigger? Or not the video, the
I
page?
I can go to the ending screen at any time. Yeah, bye chat. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. I had a great time. Thank you.
All right, and I am out on my end.
I'm out. Please stick around for a moment longer, guys. I am going to be raiding someone. Please, please, please stay around. Like I said, I'm going to be raiding someone very, very shortly. Trying to pull it up on my end to make sure that it goes through. Come on. There we go. Please follow us. Be back here next month, the third Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time. We try our best to be on time. We try to do everything and show off everything that we got. And we'll be going over more of creating this character. I want to thank every one of you guys for being here tonight. And thank you again for all the love and support you guys show. I will see you all later.
Seem to be pretty popular tonight. Huh. Thank you so much.